three. Alrighty, thank you guys for joining us. Our group chose an article about navigating healthcare leadership. This article included theories, challenges, and insights. And you can go to the next slide. So our first question here, did the authors find a relationship, show a trend, or demonstrate a new method? The article serves mostly as a guidance piece, not a research study. It reviews existing leadership theories like transformational and adaptive leadership without really introducing a new method or framework. The authors emphasize that leadership in healthcare is about practical action. Leaders must be visible, responsive, and results driven. This directly reflects the lessons from Chapter 2 of our textbook, which stress the importance of leadership, presence, and accountability in healthcare settings. Next slide. Did the authors synthesize literature in a review? This article took a systematic approach to reviewing leadership theories and styles, linking them to real-world healthcare challenges. It used multiple databases to ensure broad coverage, and it also aligned with our textbook, mainly around chapter 3 that we reviewed. The authors also demonstrated that healthcare excellence depends on structure, systems, and processes. Their method mirrors the discipline expected of healthcare managers who must measure, track, and evaluate performance infrastructure. This synthesis strengthens the article's relevance and practical utility. Next slide. Did they put forward a new conceptual framework? Rather than proposing a new conceptual framework, the authors relied on established theories. They included an illustration titled Matching Leadership Style to Development Level, which is sourced from prior work. This reinforces the idea that effective leadership is not about novelty, but about consistent practice and reinforcement, a concept echoed in our textbook discussion around transformational leadership. Building a strong organizational culture requires ongoing commitment to proven leadership principles. And you can go to the next slide. Here is the figure, which is within our article, and this just shows the leadership styles as they relate to development levels. And the next slide also was a chart that's included in our article, and this just shows the leadership styles, which gives more insight and detail to the fact that the authors chose to use established framework, things that were pretty much already set, not necessarily newer or original framework. And next slide.
Okay, so did they make any unsubstantial claims or conclusions? There were no unsubstantial claims as they were peer-reviewed sources. Leadership theories discussed like transformational, which is inspiring and motivating, and transactional, which is reward and punishment, are well established in healthcare literature. Not all leadership styles fits for everyone. Leadership development should be evidence-informed, context-sensitive, and flexible. Next slide. Were the methods appropriate or did they use flawed assumptions about data or approaches? Methods were appropriate as the approach matched the objective as using existing theories. Reputable sources reduces bias. Established leadership styles as transformational leadership is constantly used in healthcare settings, proven to be effective. No original data was collected, so it wasn't misused, misrepresented, or manipulated. Next slide.
Right. Did the authors convince us of their interpretation of the results, or did we agree with their interpretation? Overall, the authors did a mostly good job of laying out the results of their review in a timeline from oldest conceptualized leadership style to the newest. While they showed an overall inherent bias towards transformational leadership, they also write positively about contingency theory while not spending a great deal of time on it. Contingency theory could be something worth investigating based on what little information they provide. Next slide. Were the figures and tables easily understandable, or were they confusing or inappropriate for what they were trying to visualize? Table 2 and Figure 1 were already previously referenced in the presentation, and Table 2 was long, but overall well organized and not difficult to navigate. And Figure 1 is complicated and at first glance not very well organized, attempts to connect the development levels, directive behavior, supportive behavior, and leadership styles within what is the situational leadership model. And it at first glance, it's a bit convoluted and it takes a bit to parse what it's trying to convey, but it does convey a lot of information once you sit down and observe it. Next slide. Do you agree with the implications, applications, and conclusions of the study? Overall, I think they reach a good conclusion, stating the transformational leadership is a good base or lens by which they understand to understand transformational healthcare leadership and further develop it. They make an interesting statement midway through the paper, stating that, quote, effective healthcare leadership often involves a combination of adaptive, situational, transformational, and ethical leadership styles that create a resilient and responsive healthcare environment, ultimately leading to better patient care and organizational success, end quote, which I think should have been carried over into their actual conclusion and explored further, but unfortunately they don't do so. Next slide. Which carries me to this point. What would you have done differently if you were conducting the experiment? Beyond, exploring that previous point, I would have explored maybe points within the tables. They limit the leadership styles mostly to the tables. They don't explore them beyond the initial discussion, the initial list, and they just leave most of the data to table 2. And it's useful for organizational purposes, but it diminishes the overall impact of the paper and without to not discuss it within the body of the text itself. Next slide.
Alrighty, so how do the week's readings relate to each other? The readings this week connect through their shared focus on leadership in healthcare, but they differ in emphasis. For example, Sai and colleagues highlight the evolution of leadership theories, from the great men theory to transformational and adaptive leadership, and how these apply in modern healthcare. Their word synthesis multiple approaches, showing that no single model is sufficient, but that effective leaders adapt styles depending on context. This complements other readings that may focus more narrowly on either personality traits or leadership behaviors. Terminology also differs. Some frame leadership as management of change, while others use terms like transformational or servant leadership. Together, these texts provide complementary knowledge, broadening our understanding of both the conceptual routes and practical applications of leadership. Applying to experiences. Can you apply this to your prior education or career experiences? The answer is yes. In my prior experience, I have seen how leadership styles directly shape outcomes. For instance, transactional leadership focused on rules and compliance was useful in instructor environments such as clinical training. But transformational leadership, which emphasizes inspiration and motivation, proved more effective in group projects or high-pressure scenarios where innovation and resilience were needed. Looking back, I can see how different models, such as situational or servant leadership, could have helped balance authority with support, especially when mentoring or working in diverse teams. These connections help me apply academic theories to real-world experiences. About the authors. Who are the authors and what are their backgrounds? The article was written by Sai PK, Sai S, Kumari V, and Tiwari M, all which are affiliated with the India Institute of Medical Sciences in Patna, India, a highly respected institution for healthcare and research. Their background spans surgery, pharmacology, plastic surgery, and biochemistry, which gives the article a multidisciplinary perspective. They are not newcomers to the field. Their positions as faculty members and their collaboration with senior academics suggest strong credibility. While they may not be international household names like Bowles or Burns in leadership theory, they build upon well-established scholarship and apply it meaningfully to healthcare. This position this positions them as contributors who bridge classical theories with contemporary practice.